Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my worlds, the world away, and we now got part 5 of Hachette Part Works build the Mk1a Spitfire. Okay, in this issue we're going to do a bit more of the engine cover housing and some panels. We're going to need to take the section that we had last time that we saved with the little magnet in, looking just like that. We're going to need that. We're also going to need parts of the fuselage that we've completed in the past. We're also going to need the massive propeller section with the engine, because we're going to be putting a housing on top of that engine. Just to reiterate what we've got to do, we've got another bit of fuselage in this one. These are all the pieces that we've got in this one here, looking just like that. Put that to one side. So we're going to be attaching these two magnets to it, and obviously the magnets do go in a certain way, like we noticed last time. Then we're going to be making a housing for the engine here around the propeller. We're going to put that on there, and then we're going to brace that in. And then we've got the fuselage, which this is engine's going to sit in. So now we're going to have a completed section of a little bit of the fuselage there with the propeller and engine set in there. And we've got a side piece of the engine housing left over. That's what we're going to do in this issue. In the next issue, we've got a lot of details on some sprues to add some details to the engine. So that's going to be coming. Going to need me sprue cutter for that one. And do remember that we do still have a couple of parts here, which we haven't taken off yet from the last issue. So looking forward to this one. Without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so just like last time, we're going to take some of the engine fuselage here, some of the housing fuselage. This goes on the other side. This is what comes in this issue. And first off, we're going to be putting this section here, I'm just going to take the magnet out, over this lug, just there, and it's going to fit in like that. But the magnet is going to be in here as well. Now, just like last time, we need to make sure that the little line that we've got on the top of the magnet, as you can see there, is facing upwards. So I'm going to hold that in, just with my finger. I'm not going to screw it in yet. Place the magnet in there to make sure it's going in the right way. Just like that, and there we go, that's seated perfectly. Now we need to put this in with a 2x4mm screw. The good news is that those screws are supplied with this issue, so we don't need to go back to the old issues for the spares to get this, and we give that a nice tight screw in, just like that. And then just checking that that magnet's not going to fall out. That's in nice and tight. Now we've got another lug here. We're going to put another magnet in. Now this one has got the magnet housing, which looks just like this on that side and this on that side. So this is going to be fitting in just like this, so that the hole fits over the lug there, and this is going to fit flat. But once again, we need to put the magnet in. Now this time, the magnet is going to be going where you can see the line on this one, which is on the flat side there. That's going to be facing towards the fuselage body. So as you can see, I've put that in there with the line. And I'm going to offer that up, putting the body over the top here, just like this. So that magnet won't fall out now, making sure it's completely flat. Then once again, with a 2.4mm screw, we're going to put that in, and that will hold all of this together. That magnet in there was a little bit fiddly to get in, I don't mind saying. But again, that should come out now, and that's both of those magnets in. One there, one at the top. There we go. Now we need to take the engine housing looking just like this, and this is where we are going to need our sprues. So I'm glad of that. I don't like leaving things around too long on sprues, because you never know where they're going to go. There's two actual details on here, so I'm using my sprue cutters just to cut these off. These are really tiny details, so be careful when you cut them off. You don't want them pinging off in all directions. That's the first one, and we do the same with this one. So just showing you there, this is the first piece we've taken off, which is the smaller one. This is going to be fitting just into the holes here on the side and here. I'm going to put it in like dry, and then kind of show you up close what that looks like in there. And this one here is going to go sort of like that on this section here as well. So we need to glue this in. Now for a change, I'm actually going to use some of my Tamiya cements. I'm using the extra thin so it can flow into the areas that I just want to glue this. It does give a strong bond. The reason I don't normally use this is because on pits that I'm not meant to be painting, or I'm not looking to paint, I find that you still see seams. Doesn't matter what you do, it's hard to hide the seams. But there we go. That's the first one in. We're going to do the same for the second one. This might be one of those times you want to use some of the magnifying glasses. And there we go, that's both of those pipes in, looking just like that. Now we're going to take some of the engine housing looking just like that. Now if you have a look here, you've got 3 lugs, 1, 2, 3. They're going to be corresponding with the holes that we've got in this section here. So what we need to do is drop some glue just into those 3 holes just there. 1, 2, 3. So just holding that together to keep that in place. As you can see the pipe work through those details there. Now the section we just made there is going to fit between the motor and the nose cone. Now if you have a look at the motor here, we've got 2 lugs, one here and one here. They're going to match the 2 holes that we've got here and here. So this is going to be going into these holes. I've just dry fitted it there. That's what that's going to look like when that's in. Now I'm going to take it out again just to show you once again what holes you're going to actually put glue in. You're going to be putting glue just into this hole here, probably best on the top, and here. So let's get that in now. That's looking just like that. Now because I'm using the Tamiya cements, it might be worth just putting in a little bit of Tamiya cement glue just into these sections here, just to melt that glue into place, and it will ensure a really thick blonde as it's a really thick bond as it soaks into the seam there. You might notice that the edge of this actually goes black. It's where it's actually reacting with the plastic. But just want to make sure that's on completely tight. It's looking good. And I don't mind telling you that bit there was a little bit fiddly, but that's looking just like that. Now we're going to be putting the first part of the engine housing on, which looks just like this. This is what the section looks like. You've got a couple of lugs in there. And once again, this is going to go over that cog there, and it's going to secure that into place just like that, which means we need to just drop a glue just into these 2 holes here and here on this side. I'm going to use the thin cement for this because the difference between the thin and the normal cement is the normal cement's a little bit like a gel, but the thin cement actually flows into the gaps. So we'll put this bit on here and press that into place. And then once again, once it's on, we've got a little tiny seam here. Just going to go over it with the Tamiya cement. Just take this seam out. That's the first side. That's the second side. It's not going to get rid of it completely, but it does help to make a strong bond there. Now we need the parts we assembled in stage 4, which look just like this. And once again, this is the other side of the housing that we just put in. We've got a couple of lugs there, and they're going to go into the other side of these lugs that we have down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some glue just to these lugs here and here, and then we're going to be putting it in this way with the metal facing the way from the propeller, and put this into place. So because I'm putting the glue on the lugs, I'm actually going to use the normal Tamiya cement. 1, 2. And then quite simply, this is just going to drop in over the top here into those holes for the lugs. Just like that. That's looking really good, and I'll tell you what, it's quite heavy as well. So I'm just holding that into place for a second. I'm checking that's perfectly straight and there's no warp in this section that I just put on here. It looks like it's on absolutely perfectly. Now we've got the housing strut, which looks just like that. You've got some details on here, which are some holes, which look like they're going to accept some more pipes or some screws, but these are going to face away from the propeller, but they are going to attach to the bottom of the housing that we just put on. So these are going to be going here and here just like that. So once again, I'm going to put a little bit of glue just on this section here and get these glued in. And once again, I think it's very important to make sure that when that's drying, it's completely square to the housing that we've just put over the top. You see, now I'm very much glad that I saved the PM screws from the last issue, because we're going to be attaching now the propeller just onto these 4 points here, here, here and here to keep this on the bottom of the fuselage just like that. Making sure it's locked into place okay. And when it's sitting flat like that, that does look pretty perfect. So we'll get this screwed in with the PM screws. This is the first one. Nice and tight. And we've got 3 more to put in. Now these are slightly tricky to put in because there are magnets right near them. This is the second one. And that will mean that the propeller will actually stay in on its own now. That looks really good. I'm so happy with that. That's the third one. Last but not least, let's put the fourth one in. And when that's finished, it should look just like that. It's very detailed. I can't believe the amount of detail that's in this, but that is absolutely brilliant. So that's all there is in that issue. I'm telling you what, that was fiddly, and you're going to need the right sort of glue. I am kind of wishing I'd used my normal super glue on that, but people keep telling me I need to use the Tamiya cement. So you know what, I'm using the Tamiya cement. So hopefully that I've made you happy using those. But hopefully I've also told you the difference between the normal Tamiya cement and the quick drying or the normal extra thin cement. So I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.